Thank you, Roger, and welcome. This is, as Roger said, an historic day in Tulane athletics. It was literally almost just a week and a half ago that I stood here, and we announced the appointment of Troy Dannon as the Director of Athletics. And that was obviously a great development in the life and history of this institution. And I really want to recognize Troy as well as Barbara Burke for the incredibly efficient process that unfolded since then, just a week and a half ago, in selecting a new head coach here at Tulane University. As you recall, when Troy stood before you, he said his prime goal, the most important decision he would make in his life to date would be the appointment of a new head coach of football. And since then, I think he and Barbara have found exactly the right person in Willie Fritz. I should note, not a relative, Fritz, so don't worry about that. Willie, as you know, has a proven track record at every single level where he's coached. He's been a winner at every single place he's been at, winning over 75% of his games. He's a leader. He's also been deeply involved in ensuring the academic success of his students as well. He really does meet everything we're looking for in a coach. Obviously, over the last few years, we've made significant investments in facilities here at Tulane, the beautiful Yeoman Stadium. We're in a new conference. It was all of those qualities, as well as the support of the Tulane alumni and this city, that I think were so important in attracting Willie to Tulane. So without further ado, I want to turn this over to Troy, who will make the official announcement of somebody we're so excited about, the new head coach at Tulane University. Troy?
You know, President Fitz, pretty soon I'm going to actually come to work for a day and not have a press conference. But it's been an interesting way to start. Thank you for the introduction, and I want to thank President Fitz for enabling us to go out on a search and find a guy like Willie and bring him to Tulane University. I also want to thank Barbara, and I don't know if she's back here yet. Barbara came to New York with me last week, and you know, we've gotten to know each other, and we've become very fast friends. And it was a great partnership, and as we promised Willie, I said, this little triumvirate is going to help you in every way we can possibly help you. And I wanted to thank Barbara, and the last person I want to thank is Susan Fritz, because you know you've got a great guy, and allowing us to share him, we really appreciate it. We're looking so forward to having you on campus and to work with you and your family as well. I was excited 12 days ago is when I was here. And I was excited when I came here with the prospects of what I saw at Tulane. And then when I saw the passion and the desire for success and how it was pervasive through everyone and every place on campus and in the community. I take you back a couple days before my press conference, when I knew I was going to hire a head football coach, and word hadn't leaked out it was me yet, was going to be the athletic director, but the president had called me. I knew, because I'd been thinking, I knew who was at the top of my list. And I made a couple calls to a couple of representatives out there just to see who might be interested in the job. And the first person said to me, well, how about Willie Fritz? And I laughed, and I said, well, he's number one on my list. He's probably number 1B on my list as well. And then I came down here, and the whole time I was thinking, boy, I hope we can attract somebody like Willie. And then I came down here and saw the passion and the desire, and I met with the guys, and I heard what they wanted. And I just walked out here smiling because I knew this was the perfect place for Willie. And I just hoped that I could convince him that this was the perfect place for him, because he is the perfect guy for us. You know, we needed the characteristics of a coach that we needed and that any university needs, but particularly at this place and time in our institution's history, we need somebody who's a winner in every facet of their life, from character and integrity, to how they treat academics, to how they treat the men in the program, to how they treat the people that work with the program, to how do they treat the academic support, the tutors, to how do they treat the faculty, a winner in everything that they do. But I needed somebody that had a plan to succeed, because you all know what our track record is. It's time to win. We talked about this last week. And Willie came into our interview and he set down a document in front of us and said, here's my plan to win. And I've joked about this in describing Willie is all he does is win. That's not such a bad thing. And it's in every facet of his life. And once you meet your family, you'll understand, I mean every facet of his life. But he's won everywhere he's been a head coach. And I wanted somebody that would put a winning culture. It's not just about drawing up plays, but it's about instilling a culture and a belief in everybody associated with Tulane athletics, from the fan that buys one ticket to the guy that's lining up under center, that we expect to win. We expect competitive success. We expect social success. We expect academic success. And I'm very thankful that we found the guy who, as the president said, I stood up here a week ago and said the most important thing I've done professionally to this point in my life is to hire a football coach at Tulane University. And the most important thing, no matter how long the president will enable me to stay at Tulane, the most important thing that I will ever do for this university will be to introduce Coach Willie Fritz as our new head football coach. Coach, welcome.
All right, roll wave, all right. This is truly a great day for myself and my family, and I'd like to thank President Fritz, Troy Dannon, Barbara Burke, and the entire Tulane family for welcoming us to the great city of New Orleans. I am very excited about the opportunity to lead the Tulane football program and be a part of such a prestigious academic institution. I believe Tulane has positioned itself in one of the top conferences in the nation. There are many great teams in the American, and I believe Tulane is a sleeping giant. New Orleans and the surrounding areas and states are a hotbed for high school football. I look forward to the challenge of building Tulane into a consistent winner. We have a lot of work to do, but I like what I see. We have the support of the administration, but most importantly, we have many talented student athletes on this team, and we are going to work with each and every one of them to help them become the best possible football player and person they can become. I've been very fortunate to be associated with and coach winning football programs all my life. I know what it takes to compete for conference championships and national titles, and I intend to bring those winning ways here to the Green Wave. We're all in this together, the players, the administration, and the loyal fans. I am confident my staff and I can bring back the glory days of Tulane football. I couldn't be happier or more excited to be your head football coach. You know, many people start at third base and they think they hit a triple. It's taken me a long time to get around the bases to stand up here in front of you and talk to you here. And I want to thank a lot of different people as well. First, as Troy alluded to, I'm very fortunate. I've got the best family in the world. My wife, Susan, my oldest daughter, Elaine, my son, Wesley, my youngest daughter, Brooke, was unable to be here. I'd like for them to stand up and be recognized, please. Thank you all. I want to thank all of my former assistant coaches that I've had. From Blinn College, my first head coaching job in 1993, to the University of Central Missouri, to Sam Houston State University, and most recently at Georgia Southern. All of them have helped me get to this point. I've got three mentors that have really helped me throughout my coaching career. Ron Randleman, my former college coach, Dick Foster, who I worked for at Coffeyville Community College, and Bob Riley, who taught me how to be an assistant coach many years ago. All three of those guys have made me the coach that I am today. Most of all, I want to thank my former players from Blinn, from Central Missouri, from Sam Houston, and most recently, the fine student athletes at Georgia Southern. I appreciate everything those guys have done for me. I love each and every one of them. And I look forward to developing those relationships here at Tulane with the current student athletes. I want to also thank everyone here at Tulane University for my first day here. When I was talking with Troy and contemplating becoming the head football coach here at Tulane, I called my old buddy David Pierce. I don't know where David's at. Where you at, David? All right, David and Susan Pierce are he's our baseball coach here at Tulane, and he and I work together at Sam Houston, and I consider, my wife and I consider them great friends, and he told me, Willie, they're hungry to win here at Tulane. There's great people here at Tulane. New Orleans is a fantastic place to live. So he also did a really good job recruiting as well. So thank you, David and Susan. And I'm just going to end on the fact that I'm just totally excited about being your head football coach, and I want to open it up for questions that anyone might have at this point in time.
Raise your hand if you have a question so we can get a wireless mic.
Have you recruited this area before? Did you recruit Louisiana much, either at Sam Houston or at Georgia Southern? And your opinion of the athletic base you have to work with here?
Every place I've been, I've really tried to recruit locally, and it just makes a lot of sense. And there are so many great players in New Orleans, state of Louisiana. Then you start going east a little bit, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and then also, the state of Texas as well. So I have done some recruiting in the state of Louisiana, and I know the great football that y'all play here, that we play here.
How much do you know about the roster you have that you're inheriting here?
A little bit. I'm still learning. I've been here less than 24 hours right now, and that's going to be something that I'll be studying over the next few days. We just started a dead period in the NCAA where we're unable to go off campus, so I'm going to be able to really study the roster and see where we're at and where we need to fill slots as far as position groups are concerned.
In the process of taking this job, as you interviewed and everything like that, was there a moment where, they kind of had to sell you on Tulane, or were you kind of selling yourself, or how did you feel that process kind of came about when you were interviewing?
I think whenever you're looking at a new opportunity, new position, you want them to want you, and you want to show them that you're extremely interested in the position. And the more Troy talked and the more Barber talked, the more I liked what they were selling. I really do believe that this is a sleeping giant here, and with this beautiful new stadium and the prestigious academic institution that Tulane is, we've got a lot to sell here, and I really feel comfortable in saying that we can build this into a consistent winner and a conference champion, and we're going to try to do it sooner rather than later.
Can you talk a little bit about your offensive philosophies? I know there's been some talk about what you're going to run, and you've done some different things at different schools. But what are your offensive philosophies, the base, and maybe what do you think you want to run here?
Yeah, I met with the players a little while ago, and that was one of the first questions I got. I'm going to adapt to the personnel that we have. I've done that every place that I've been at. When I was at Sam Houston State, we played for a couple national championships. I think my last year there, we threw 34 touchdown passes. We were one of the most efficient passing teams in the country. Went to Georgia Southern, really inherited a team that was an under center triple option team. So we kind of blended what I was doing and what they'd done in the past, and we ran the ball a lot more. We led the nation in rushing, all Division I football, the last 2 seasons. So we're going to see what our guys can do. That's what spring football's for, and then we're going to do what they're capable of doing. I've done that every place I've been at. I'm not going to try to force something that's not going to work.
Coach, I want to follow up on one of the first questions again about recruiting. When you were at Georgia Southern, obviously you're recruiting against Georgia Tech. Will that give you some sort of experience in dealing with recruiting against schools like ULL and especially LSU in the state of Louisiana?
Yeah, I think that was the big difference. I'm glad I got the 2 years under my belt of recruiting at the Division I level as opposed to the 1AA level. Recruiting is much more intensified, And, another reason why we need to recruit more than just the state of Louisiana, we got to find people that fit our profile academically. You want guys to be able to come in here and succeed academically. It doesn't do any good to bring someone in here, they're only here for a semester or two. Excuse my voice. I've been yelling encouragement this whole last season in my student athletes, and I'm a little hoarse. I'll get better here in a few months, but yeah, we're going to recruit quite a few different states so that we can find guys who fit what we're doing football-wise, but also academically. And I know there's a lot of great student athletes in the state of Louisiana as well.
Hey, Coach, you've had a couple of guys who've already decommitted. What do you do to try to get those guys, back in the mix? And what's your biggest focus now? Getting new players or trying to keep the ones that have already committed?
Well, one of the tough things is it is a period of time right now where you can't contact guys, be off campus, they can't come to campus. So you really have to do it through social media, telephone calls, those types of things. And when we're able to go out on January 13th, those will be some of the guys that I'll target from the get-go.
This league, with the American, you were in the Sun Belt, and it's technically the same group, but is there a step up in stature from that league into the American, and maybe the amount of top 25 teams, all that kind of stuff? Was that a selling point for you to come here? Was this league?
Without question. I would venture to say when they get done ranking the 10 Division I conferences at the end of this year, the American might be in the top 5. If not, they'll be pretty close. At the very worst, they'd be 6th. So this is an excellent league.
We have time for one more question.
Along that line, what do you feel like is your biggest personal learning curve since you've only been at FBS level for 2 years? And I understand you're bringing most of your staff with you. Do you feel like that they're capable of making the step, or did you consider maybe looking for a little bit more experience at this level?
Well, I'm still looking, at the staff and what I'm going to end up doing, and who's going to be on the staff. And one of the fortunate things about this being a time where you can't go out, I'm going to be able to devote a bunch of time to figuring out my staff and what the best fit is going to be. I'm still unsure who's going to be on that staff right now. Well, thank you all very much. Roll wave.
I'd like to thank everybody for coming out today. For members of the media, all 3 speakers will be available for one-on-ones. How about one more round of applause for our new head coach, Willie Fritz.